We call this guy y prime. What do you think we're going to call this guy? This is called double prime. This is called f prime. What are we going to call that guy? F double prime. This we would just say the derivative, and this is the second derivative is how we'd say it. And again, the derivative of f, and this is saying what's the second derivative of f. So again, you might be like, oh my gosh, it's another rule. No, thankfully, we're just doing the same thing twice. So yeah, I feel you. It says find the second derivative of this function. So you guys, the first thing we're going to do is find the first derivative. What would y prime be of 2 secant of x? Let's just do one thing at a time. What rule might we have to do with 2 times the secant of x? Potentially a little fig plus gif, a little product rule. Here's the deal. Do you need to write that down though? Because what would fig be? 0. Isn't fig going to be 0? So all we actually care about is gif. Anytime the f is a constant, you can always just worry about gif. If we go through the motions to get there, good for you, but we could skip that if we start remembering that. So my fig is 0. Let's go do gif. What's the derivative of secant of x? Secant x tangent x. That's g prime. What do we need to multiply that by? 2. Could I just put that out front instead of afterwards? Same diff, right? There's gif right there. Plus, what's the derivative of e to the x? E to the x. Very good, you guys. Do you agree we didn't have any inners? My inners would have all just had derivatives of 1, so we didn't have to worry about it. So that's my first derivative. We did do the first derivative. Now we got to go find the second derivative, which we might just write as y double prime. Okay. Here we have 2 secant of x tangent of x. What rule to take the derivative of that? Product rule again, right? Now, Liv, could I make this whole thing my f function? I could say 2 secant could just be the f function, or if that 2 is stressing you out, that 2 could just be chilling, and then we could just go say, this is my f, and this is my g. I think that might lead us to the making the least amount of mistakes. Let's just leave 2, and then we're going to fig plus gif secant tangent. We can do this. What's f prime? Secant tangent again. Secant x tangent of x. That's f prime. What's g? Careful, what's g? Wasn't it just a tangent? Yep. And we're going to multiply that by g prime. The derivative of tangent is secant squared. And we got to multiply that by f, which is just a secant. Holy smokes. That right there is the derivative of this part. What's the derivative of e to the x going to get me? Done. Let's go try this guy. How might, again, is this a little one function times another function? But what's fig? 0. So we don't really need to worry about that when that's a constant. Let's just worry about gif. My fig would be 0. So maybe you want to write 0. And then what's my g prime? Derivative of sine. Cosine. How might I want to rewrite or rethink about x over 2? Because that's my inner. Nice, Wilson. That's 1/2 x. So the derivative, so check this out. I took an outer and an inner. I've got a little outer sign and an inner x over 2. The derivative sign we said was cosine. We leaved the inner. We leaved it. We leaved it. We left it. We got to multiply by the derivative of the inner. Just 1/2. If we left it like this, if we leaved it like this, we would have done quotient rule and we still would have gotten 1/2. So this right here was my fig. This is my, whoa, this whole thing is my g prime. And we got to multiply that by f. You say 8? Yeah, very good. Oh man, that's just f prime, isn't it? That's just my first derivative. Let's simplify that before we have to go do that again. Let's simplify it. What are we going to say my f prime is?
4.
Nice. Half of 8 is going to get me a 4. So you're saying 4 cosine of x over 2? love it. That's my f prime. Now we got to go find f double prime. Do you want to, do we need to, fig plus gif it? What would my fig get me? 0. So my fig is 0. Let's go get gif. Derivative of cosine. Negative sign. Leave the angle times the derivative of the angle. 1/2. Very good, you guys. That's g prime. What do we need to multiply that by? 4. Very good. Yep. Say that, Danny. What'd you say? Yes. That's what their answer would have been. He said negative 1/2 times 4 got me negative 2. So good. They said find the second derivative and my y's are within the problem, Kate. Here we go, people. Derivative of y squared. 2y dy dx. They said find the second derivative. Guys, we got to start with the first derivative. The derivative of 7y. Okay, Mario, JC, get yourself a candy. I heard them say 7 dy dx. And the derivative of 4x? Beautiful. You guys, if they wanted the second derivative, in my opinion, it is much easier for us to get our first derivative by itself. Who could talk me through, let's get dy dx all on one side, and let's get it by itself. DM, you want to get that dy dx over here? Love it. Okay, you're doing so many steps in one, and you're not wrong. He said, I'm going to subtract my 7 dy dx. Then I'm going to factor out, right, Danny? Factor out that dy dx, and what's left? Yes. And then you're going to divide by it. 4 over 2y minus 7. Good job. You guys, we just found the first derivative, right? It says find the second. So we got to do that again by raising your hand. What rule do we need to do, Liv, if I have to take the derivative of this? Quotient rule. Liv, let's do it. Low, Liv. So, oh yeah, we've never written this way. The second derivative is written d squared y over dx squared. Why does the squared change the spot? I don't know. I asked Mr. Holt in my lunch. No one knows. Are you ever going to get taken points off for that? No. If you forget which order, you're fine. They're worried about this side. So, Liv, what is my low? Beautiful. If you don't put that in parentheses, we do care about that. That's a problem. D high, Liv. Good. Low D high minus high. 4, Liv. They're looking for you to make a mistake right now. D low. Oh, she says it's just 2 dy dx. I'm not going to make a mistake. You're so right. All over. Low. Low. You guys down with her saying, oh, the derivative of 2y was 2 dy dx? Yeah. Okay. You guys, they want that second derivative. Oh, we're done. No. I should have clarified. We can't leave a dy dx in my solution. Everything else was fine, but what could I put in this spot? Do I know what dy dx is? Isn't it 4 over 2y minus 7? So all they want you to do is say, oh, that goes right there. Instead of writing 2y minus 7 times 0, could we get rid of that? And we could just say maybe negative 8 times 4 over 2y minus 7, all over 2y minus 7 squared. Look what I did there. I multiplied these two together. And I substituted in 4 over 2y minus 7. Everything else I left the same. Second derivative, here we go. I'm going to say, well, f prime is what? What's the derivative? Oh, inverse tangent? Gross! Let me move myself. Inverse tangent, but like not as gross as inverse cosine. Inverse tangent. 1 over. 1 plus. What's my angle? 2x. Squaring it. What do they want us to forget? Times the 2. It's so easy to forget that chain rule, you guys. So again, if they're asking me to take a second derivative, I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. What would that be the same as? 2 over 1 plus 4x squared. Good job, you guys. I like to simplify it if I got to go do a second derivative. And how we'd write that is what's f double prime. Okay, for a pick. Mr. Truitt, do you want some candy?
Sure.
Okay. Could you quotient rule this for me? I'm going to talk you through. Low.
So low, 1 plus 4x squared,
Beautiful. D high.
0,
So good. Minus high.
2,
D low.
4x,
Close.
or
8x. Very good. All over.
1 plus 4x squared.
Perfect, Truitt. Perfect. All right. It says, let f of x be a twice differentiable. That means that we can take the derivative twice. They gave us a point. They said the they gave us dy dx. They gave us the first derivative. They want the second derivative, so I actually only have to take the derivative of this once, right? They gave us dy dx. Go now take that derivative again, and it'll get us the second derivative. You okay with that? Since they gave us dy dx? Let's go do it. The derivative of dy dx on the left side, I would just write is that d squared y over dx squared. Because they already gave us dy dx. That's a gift. Okay, let's go do the derivative. Who could tell me? Rolly, derivative of y cubed.
3y squared, 2y.
Shoot, Rolly, derivative of a 3. Plus 3. Very good. You guys, they said, hey, what's the second derivative when x is 1? You're like, okay, well, the second derivative is this, but there's no x down here to plug in. How am I going to know what to plug in for y?
It's up there, it's 2.
Sadie's saying, well, when x is 1, isn't my y 2? Sadie, genius. When x is 1, my y is 2, so I got 3 times 2 squared. Sadie, what the heck would I do with this dy dx?
Plug in the y cubed.
Oh, snap. Danny Main, you see that? Yeah, he's like, oh, okay, that dy dx could just be replaced with y cubed plus 3. That's that. And Sade, what did we plug in for my y right here?
2.
A 2, so could I do the same thing right there? Yeah, so we got a 3 times 2 squared times a 2 cubed plus 3. Ooh, see you guys at the end. This is disgusting. I might do... Yeah. Again, my suggestion, if we need a second derivative, go get dy dx by itself first. Let's start getting dy dx by itself. What do we want to do that? Yeah, subtract that 2x. Good job, you guys. Then what? Perfect. Divide by 2y. And my derivative is negative 2x over 2y. What can we cancel out? Yeah, can I just say that that's negative x over a y? I would always simplify it before I do that derivative again. Guys, we're doing great. Here's my derivative. We got to go find the second derivative. So here's dy dx. I'm going to say, all right, that second derivative, d squared y over dx squared. What rule do we want to do? Very good. We got to go quotient. I love quotient rule because it's about me. Wilson, you want to do it? You got this. What's my low? D high. Very good. Minus high. Good. D low. Very good. All over. Good call. It's just low squared. So don't change it. Yeah. So just over a low. Very good. So you guys, as we go to simplify this, I might rewrite it before I even plug anything in. I got a negative y. Do you agree we have plus an x dy dx all over a y squared? Okay. Now we got to plug in. What are we going to put in for y? What do they give us up here? Isn't my y, my x3, I'm sorry, my x4 and my y3? So I'm going to go plug in a 3. So you guys said a negative 3. I hear that. Plus, what was my x? 4. And then Danny, this is when they force us again. Yeah. He's like, I'm ready for it. We got to plug in dy dx. What is my dy dx? Negative x over y. So this negative x over y, what would that be when x is 4 and y is 3? Nice, you guys. So I've got 4 times negative 4/3 gross all over 3 squared, which is 9. I love that. I'm just going to write 9. Good call, Matney. Okay, this is kind of like the amount of algebra that formative made you do. We got to match this to one of these answers without a calculator. Whew, okay, here we go. PEMDAS says do all your multiplying first. This is really just 4/1, so multiply those across. 4 times, yep, say it again. Negative 16/3 divided by 9. Without a calculator, you guys, negative 3, I'm just going to focus on this numerator. If I had to get common denominators, what would this guy turn into? Negative 9/3, because you're saying I would multiply it by a 3/3. So you're saying we have negative 9/3 minus 16/3. Gross. Negative 9/3 minus 16/3 is negative 25/3. Dividing by 9 is the same as multiplying by 1/9. Multiply straight across. Yes, Cliff Dog. Yes, Clifford.